Problem 10. Positive real numbers x and y satisfy y to the third is equal to x squared and y minus x squared is 4y squared. What is x plus y? So we have two systems of equations. Y to the third is x squared, and we know y minus x squared is 4y squared. We have two variables and have two equations, so we can solve for both variables. But how do we do this? Well, the first thing that catches your eye is this equation, right? Because what is 4y squared? That's the same thing as 2 squared y squared, which is the same thing as 2y squared. If 2y squared is equal to y minus x squared, then we can obviously simplify this equation by taking the square root on both sides. Now, one thing to note here is that when you take the square root of something, you get two solutions. You get a positive x or you get a negative x. The reason for this, x squared is x squared, right? And then we also know that negative x squared gives x squared. So, or this would be x squared right here. So with this, what can we say? We can say that we have two solutions if we were to set this to be the dependent variable and this would be the independent variable. So let's take the square root on both sides, like so, and this would become y minus x. Now, y minus x gives me two potential solutions. It gives me 2y or negative 2y. So we have two cases here. If y minus x is equal to 2y, then we know that x is equal to negative y. If this is equal to negative 2y, we know x is equal to 3y. So therefore, we have a substitution example. So let's just substitute each one. I'll call that case 1, case 2, and see what solutions of x and y we can get. Let's suppose that we use case 1, where x is negative y. Therefore, y to the third is equal to negative y squared, which is the same thing as y squared. So if y to the third is equal to y squared, then y to the third, right, minus y squared is equal to 0. But wait a minute. We know that positive real numbers, wait a minute, sorry about that, x equal to negative y, that's negative. We can't have a negative number within our solutions. So case 1 is actually out. We can't consider this because when we have x is negative y, one has to be positive, one has to be negative, or vice versa. So this is out. We don't even have to consider that. Let's just consider case 2. If x is equal to 3y, that means this is y to the third is equal to 9y squared. We do not divide by y squared, because if we divide by y squared, we get rid of solutions. We don't want to eliminate solutions. So we rather subtract it. Y to the third minus 9y squared is equal to 0. Factor out the y squared. Y squared times y minus 9 is the same thing as 0. So what are solutions of y? Well, y are obviously equal to 0. Y is equal to 9. When y is equal to 0, x, right, will be equal to 0. When y is equal to 9, x will be equal to 27. So what is x plus y? X plus y obviously can't be 0 because that's not an answer choice, but 27 plus 9 gives 36. So your final answer will be answer choice D.